Resilient Bahamas plan.
The Ministry of Health confirming in its latest dashboard that there are 85 additional confirmed cases of COVID-19 here in the Bahamas, 76 here in New Providence, 4 over in Grand Bahama, 3 in Abaco, and 2 on Eleuthera. This brings the total number of confirmed cases to 5,163. The Ministry of Health also confirms the death of an 86-year-old male of New Providence who passed on October 11th, bringing that total to 108. There have been 2 additional non-COVID-related deaths, pushing that number to 20. There were 78 recovered cases, with that tally now standing at 2,978. The Cabinet Office has also announced that the ground floor of the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection on Shirley and Charlotte Streets will be closed today for a deep cleaning and sanitizing due to the staff member testing positive for COVID-19. It will reopen tomorrow, Wednesday, October 14th. The Ministry of the Environment and Housing, the Department of Housing, Forestry Unit, and Account Section, also in Charlotte House, will remain closed. Carnival Cruise Lines announcing the cancellation of the remaining cruises for its 6 ships operating from the Port of Miami and Port Canaveral for November 2020. Carnival says it continues to work on protocols and procedures that would allow for the resumption of operations and gradual phased approach. December cruises from those 2 ports remain in place for the time being, while the company evaluates its options. Now, December cruises still have the ability to voluntarily cancel and receive the same offer as all others impacted guests. Persons whose employment position has changed are being asked to discontinue seeking food assistance from the National Food Distribution Task Force. The task force was set up back in June with a $16 million injection from government to assist persons with food who have been impacted by COVID-19. Chairperson of the task force, Susan Larson, explains why it is important for the information to be updated.
I think one of our biggest message needs right now is that we really need people whose employment status has changed. You know, there's a registration process to follow to sign up for food assistance. And if person's employment status has changed, we want to encourage them to, you know, update the data they submitted during their registration process and withdraw from the food program, because the program really is not meant for people who've gotten their jobs back. Some of them have withdrawn, and you know, we have different methods of providing assistance. So on any given week, we can be providing food assistance to 30,000 households.
The task force provides food parcels and vouchers structured in a way to feed a family of 4. However, last week, some of the food vouchers were undervalued, which presented a major problem.
Communication error or miscommunication amongst our task force members. We've been having quite a few discussions about how we can stretch the budget, because obviously the pandemic is stretching the resources of the country to the absolute limit. And so we were just doing an exercise in terms of how we could get more out of the budget, and the wrong conclusions were carried forward, and the vouchers were misvalued. We actually don't even want to use vouchers. Our primary preference is to use food parcels. You can get a lot more value in a parcel. We get discounted wholesale prices, and vouchers are not our primary method of assistance. So our greatest emphasis is on food parcels, and that's really what the task force has been doing over the course of the last multiple months.
Several Montague vendors expressing concerns over the recent COVID-19 emergency orders. The owner of Mr. Tropical, Edward Monroe, has been selling snacks and Bahamian tropical delights on the Montague shoreline for 12 years. However, reduced hours for beaching, he says business has been pretty slow.
After 10 o'clock, like right now, you hardly see, there's hardly nobody on this beach. And after, like, the old folks go in the morning, nobody comes out to the beach or nothing like that. Then, what's here? At 12 o'clock, everybody has to leave. So that's another thing that we're really looking at. So it's no business out there around that time. So what you normally do with your business, you can sit down all day. You're spending more money to keep your business open because every day you gotta buy ice. Every day you gotta buy things to put on your place. And that's the reason why everything looks so scattery. We even put up another 5-gallon jugs that you normally have like Sky Juice, a Bahama Mama, a Yellowbird, a Island in the Sun. All of those in 5-gallon jugs. So this is what we down to now, a gallon. And you will not sell a gallon out here a day right now.
The newest set of COVID-19 restrictions coming with mixed reactions from many on the island of Abaco, with some calling it an essential measure and others zeroing in on rules they say are not practical. Persons commuting between the main island and Keys must quarantine for a period of 14 days. This has caused concern for many who depend on Great Abaco for banking and commercial purposes.
A number of persons reach out to me on late Friday evening seeking an understanding of that, and I've committed to them to get clarity on that issue because daily commute to the Keys for workers as well as those that's to and from. Many who live on the Keys commute to the mainland Abaco. Many work on the Keys from the mainland Abaco, and so that daily commute post-Dorian is very heavy, and so we will work with the competent authority to see how best we can navigate that aspect of it.
South and Central Abaco Member of Parliament James Albury commenting on the issue via Facebook, saying he has brought the challenges associated with the quarantine to the attention of the competent authority and is hopeful for some adjustments pretty soon. Meantime, North Abaco Administrator Therese Budalang paints us a picture of what those challenges might look like.
That's a norm in Abaco because you have availability of grocery stores on the Keys, but not larger brands of grocery stores. And then you have the business community who do heavy business with the Marsh Harbor community. And so everything revolving around the economies in the Keys is dependent upon Marsh Harbor, and so that commute and linkage via boat, daily commute is very important for the survival of the Keys.
Exuma hoping to rebound from the current crisis, that island already seeing an uptick in visitor arrivals. American Airlines resumed services on Thursday, and residents welcome visitors from Charlotte, North Carolina. A Miami-based flight will also arrive on the island sometime this week. Island Administrator Ivan Ferguson says residents are optimistic about the full reopening of the economy.
This is a very vibrant, or it has been a very vibrant touristic destination. And so our economy is based primarily on tourism. And we look forward to the full reopening of the borders and the subsequent resurgence of economic activity on the island.
Ferguson said Exumians are resilient people who were able to adjust during this downtime.
Construction has been doing well on the island. Many second homeowners seem to be building second homes as well as local residents. And so construction has been able to sustain us during the lockdown and afterward. I'm looking forward to more Exumians taking ownership of the economy so that we can rebound very quickly from this economic crisis.
Well, good morning, everyone. This morning we're coming to you from the roundabout just off the Charles W. Saunders Highway, and that puts us in the heart of the Pinewood community. Now, there's a steady flow of traffic this morning as people head back into work following the holiday weekend. We can also tell you that some of them may very well be headed to food stores, gas stations, and pharmacies, all of which were closed during the 3-day weekend, 24-hour weekend curfew. And of course, as you're aware, that's expected That's expected to continue indefinitely. Now, while it's safe to presume where they are headed, it's also safe to presume where they're not headed, and that's into school campuses. And that's due to the decision to only go strictly, that is, with online learning at this point until the country gets a better grasp on COVID numbers. Now, at this point, we can tell you we're going to repeat the advice of officials as regardless of where you're headed this morning, we want you to take due care and attention wherever your travels may take you. Back to you, LaDawn.
Stay close. We've got more right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
It is normal to feel overwhelmed, lonely, scared, or sad during a crisis. Coping can be difficult when your daily schedule is interrupted. Drinking may feel good, but is not the best way to cope with stress. It can worsen your mental and physical health and impact your family. So how can you cope? Keep physically active, like taking a walk or dancing. Cook and eat nutritious food, including fruits and vegetables. Engage in indoor activities like playing games and staying connected with family and friends. Meditate, encourage yourself, or enjoy music. Still feeling overwhelmed? We are here to listen. This message is brought to you by these partners.
When a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, it is extremely important to be prepared and know just what to do. Stay informed about the storm's path by listening to the radio or television for hurricane progress reports. Check emergency food and household supplies. Be sure you have extra batteries for flashlights and radios. Bring in outdoor items like lawn furniture and garden tools. Anchor objects that cannot be brought inside. Secure buildings by closing and boarding up windows. Remove outside antennas and satellite dishes. Turn refrigerators and freezers to the coldest settings, opening only when absolutely necessary and closing quickly. Purchase ice and store it in an ice chest. Keep drinking water in clean jugs and bottles. Clean your bathtub with bleach and fill it with water for washing and flushing, not for drinking, making sure to keep the bathroom door closed so that small children cannot access the filled tub. Do not go out to videotape or take photos of the storm. Take pictures from inside where it is safe and dry. There is no harm in being overly cautious where a hurricane is concerned. It is truly better to be safe than sorry. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Welcome back. Well, Makushla Pinder and the Morning Edition traffic team is standing by with your Tuesday morning traffic commute. Good morning, Makushla.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Well, as indicated, LaDawn, we're here at the roundabout just off the Charles W. Saunders Highway. Things have died down a bit. It's a stark contrast from about 30 minutes ago when there was a heavier flow of traffic, people eager to get back into work, get back into office following 3 days of a holiday weekend. Now, we can presume also, like we indicated, that some of these people are also headed to grocery stores hoping to stock up early, to fill their cars early, and to get those needed prescription in early, considering the long holiday weekend that they had, the 24-hour weekend curfew that they were under, a weekend curfew that will, like we indicated, will continue indefinitely. Now, a peek into some of these cars, we saw some kids in the front seats of the cars, some children. And as we indicated, those children, no doubt, are not headed into school campuses. that's been closed down. Instead, the government has indicated that online learning will be the course of action until COVID cases have decreased at this point. Now, as we indicated earlier, we're going to strictly stress that motorists heed the advice of police officials, and that's to take due care and attention when driving on the streets, and that's wherever their destination may take them. Back to you, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Makusla. Well, a number of sweeping reforms could be in the works for private health insurance across this country. General Manager and CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority, Graham Whitmarsh, says the proposed reforms are necessary in order to ensure that every Bahamian has access to a standard package of benefits.
This will ensure that those who have private insurance have similar access to this standard health benefit, and everybody will have access to their records through our single electronic health record. By the end of this year, all of our beneficiaries will be into this program. And we can do this without any additional funding or taxation because it removes significant duplication in the system today, and that creates enough financial resources for us to do this initiative without having to resort to additional taxation.
The National Health Insurance Authority recently launched a consultation paper seeking feedback from stakeholders on the proposed reforms to the National Health Insurance Plan. The CEO says once the process is completed, revisions will be made to the health plan based on the feedback.
This will ensure that those who have private insurance have similar access to this standard health benefit, and everybody will have access to their records through our single electronic health record. By the end of this year, all of our beneficiaries will be into this program. And we can do this without any additional funding or taxation because it removes significant duplication in the system today, and that creates enough financial resources for us to do this.
World Investor Week 2020 rolling out its global campaign that seeks to raise awareness about the importance of investor education. The Securities Commission of the Bahamas taking the helm to educate people about protecting their money from scammers and fraudsters. The organization hosted a webinar on Friday speaking to the various fraud schemes investigated in the Bahamas that includes pyramid and Ponzi schemes. Here's Jimonita Swain.
What is known as Ponzi scheme? This is a scam where participants invest money to a person or organization with hopes of getting high returns on their investment. Participants are required to bring in new investors who then are required to do the same. Usually within this scam, early investors are able to see their profits on their investments. However, if the money is not generated into the program, eventually the latter investors will not see their returns.
Officer in charge of the Financial Crimes Unit, Superintendent Matthew Edgecombe, was one of several participants in the Securities Commission of the Bahamas webinar dubbed Be a Smart Investor, Protect Your Money from Scammers and Fraudsters. Securities Commission Executive Director Christina Rolls spoke to 4 major fraud scams. Pyramid and Ponzi schemes, she said, represent a real and ever-present risk for regulators.
This stage and outcome is always inevitable. And it is here where the fraud is undeniable, as the promoter of the scheme does not have the funds to make good on the scheme's promise or at least return monies to the investors. It will crash. In the Bahamas, we have seen some of these masquerading as so-called public ASUs. They almost always pop up around Christmas and close to school reopening. You may recall the loom, flower, pineapple. All of these were local pyramid schemes that crashed.
Pump and dump schemes are not so common in local markets, but Roll notes Nigerian letter scams is a common one officials have seen, but she advises persons not to be fooled when they see WhatsApp messages from a 234 number.
Some of these scam operators are physically located right here on our doorsteps. The proper name for these scams is advance fee. And the way it works is that usually a complete stranger approaches you and tells you an incredible story about how it is they have inherited or have access to loads of money, but need you, a stranger, to send them money and very often your bank account details, after which they can access the funds due to them and pay you a handsome portion for helping them out.
Overall, officials advise never giving out personal banking information, and if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Jiminita Swain, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, the Honorable Michael Pintard, hoping to get some support from Cabinet on a bid to produce hemp and cannabis oil. This while the country awaits word on whether or not marijuana will be decriminalized or not. The Bahamas National Commission on Marijuana has been discussing the issue for some time now. While any question of the cultivation of marijuana falls under the purview of the Prime Minister, Minister Pintard addressed what he thinks could be a bonus for this country. He noted that industrial hemp has a wide range of products that can be tapped into.
That is something that has massive potential. We have been in numerous meetings with investors, Bahamians as well as otherwise, with respect to industrial hemp. That is not the hemp. That is not what you smoke. You don't get high by it, no matter what amount is consumed. In fact, it is used to produce a wide range of products, everyday products that you and I would use. And so it is my intention to ask the Cabinet that we proceed in terms of separating that until the question of cannabis has been settled. Let's deal with what should not be a controversial issue.
Minister Pintard's comments came during a national report last week on the work of his ministry during COVID-19. That, though, is not the only area that Pintard says, or sees rather, as beneficial.
CBD products as well, which again do not have the THC in it, which would in fact get somebody high. The things that concern a great many Bahamians. We need to move on the things that certainly are not controversial to a large extent, that have the potential to generate revenue, that others are taking advantage of, and the longer we wait, the longer we miss opportunities.
Virtual activities commemorating National Youth Month are underway. The month of October celebrates the work of our young people every year. Ministry of Youth officials will highlight those young persons on the front line of the COVID-19 fight. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Lanisha Rolle.
This year, challenged by the lingering presence of the global coronavirus pandemic, we remain inspired to celebrate under a virtual platform from which our nation will rise. Consequently, the 2020 National Youth Month virtual celebrations will be held under the theme Youth Resilient, Youth Re-Engineered, and Youth Re-Emerged for Positive Social Change. I must indicate that we at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture are once again proud of and commend the Division of Youth of the Government of the Bahamas, the National Youth Advisory Council, and the youth organizations with whom we partner for being steadfast in the commitment to advancing youth development.
The youth minister also encouraged youngsters to follow their dreams and become productive citizens of this country.
This Youth Month, we celebrate and declare that notwithstanding the challenges we face, all is not lost. And in the words of an anonymous author, every effort to support others, whether big or small, is a step in the right direction to making our world a better place. Hence, this October 2020, we celebrate youth who are believing, performing, excelling, achieving, and youth who are indeed succeeding.
Stay close, we've got more right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
As an artist, I travel all over the world and I find inspiration all around me. From the people and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty. From Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
Hey, John. Before we send you out in the world, we must make make sure that your mission is intact. Yes, Mom! Agent 1, what is a touch? Physical contact, Mom. Agent 2, what is a good touch? Touches that make you feel alright, Mom. Such as? A high five, a handshake, even a kiss, Mom. Good. Now, Agent 3, what is a bad touch? Touches that make you feel not so good, Mom. Like a slap, a kick, a pinch. And most important, if someone touches your private part. And what do we do when someone gives us a bad touch? You tell a trusted adult, Mom. For help, Mom. Tell them, don't do that, Mom. Agent, I see that you understand. Now it's your mission to spread this information. Just remember that good touches are okay. And bad touches are not okay. So, Agent, go spread the word. Yes, Mom.
Hey, y'all, what's up?
Hey, what's that?
What y'all getting?
Listen, I've been waiting to march down some lobster, yeah?
Hi, I'm Matthew. I will be you guys' waiter today. Can I take your order?
Oh, I've been jonesing for some grouper dread.
Y'all see this?
See, this ain't gonna work.
Where the fish gone, though?
But how, though?
Don't leave our children with no fish in their future. Protect our sea. Protect our way of life. Protect the Bahamas. To learn how you can help, find us on Facebook at Bahamas Protected. See the future.
Nature-based tourism supplies almost $50 million in revenue for Androsians every year. These priceless resources will continue to provide renewable benefits for thousands of people for years to come, as long as we take long-term action to preserve what's rightfully ours. The natural environment has played a vital role in our culture and economy for generations. Let's take care of nature, and nature will take care of us.
Ever heard of Edmodo? Well, it's a free online learning management platform that's known around the world to assist parents, teachers, and students with the virtual learning process. And one local online expert says it's a formula that should be introduced in all of our public schools.
Teachers are able to just go and sign up for a teacher account. They can create classes. They send the code to their students, and then the students are able to come into the class and interact just as they interact in a social media platform.
That's computer science instructor at Kingsway Academy and Edmodo online expert Ernesto Rodriguez giving pertinent information on what the Edmodo free online learning platform consists of. During an interview with the morning team, Rodriguez gave more insight on how parents, teachers, and students can benefit from the Edmodo platform.
Whenever an assignment is graded, the parent gets a notification. If the child is missing an assignment, the parent gets a notification. And then the teacher is able to interact with the parent as well by sending the parent an email directly from the Edmodo platform. Messages if they need to. If they're having issues online, they can send me messages, private messages, but they can also post to the wall and interact with other students in the class. So it gives them the feel of community. It allows them to be able to feel as if they're, they're still there with their other students, and they interact and they have fun with it.
Rodriguez has been using the platform for some 6 years and believes it opens new learning opportunities for students. She says her students were able to transition into the virtual learning process quickly thanks to Edmodo. However, that transition, she says, happened with a large number of hiccups.
The internet is not working. When you have constant power outages, it disrupts the learning process. Sometimes you're in a good flow of a class and you're getting the students to interact and everything's going great, and then somebody gets kicked off, or I get kicked off, or the power goes, and you have to sit there for however long until it comes back on. So it frustrates the students, and of course it frustrates the teachers, because then it's now you have to go back and reevaluate that entire lesson. Did the students even get anything everything that I said? Do I need to now go back and reteach? So it's definitely something that needs to be addressed very quickly if we want this learning platform to be successful.
And as we continue to move into virtual and hybrid learning due to the impact of COVID-19 in our public schools, Rodriguez is encouraging parents across this country who lack computer skills to equip themselves with the basics of a computer by seeking professional assistance from a qualified instructor.
I think it's very important for parents to know how to use the computer, especially parents of younger children, because they need that technical support that unfortunately the teacher cannot offer because the teacher is not with them. So they need someone that's in the household that knows how to use the computer so they can help them maneuver through, their technical issues and being able to post their work online.
Rodriguez also reveals some of the challenges parents are facing while overseeing the virtual learning process away from the classroom.
A lot of students do not have the proper devices to do the online learning. Some of them are using their cell phones to work. Some of them are using tablets that are not equipped. And a lot of them are using older laptops that they probably had knocking around the house 10 or 15 years that just cannot handle the load that it needs to handle right now with the online learning. It's tough financial times, but honestly, for the students' sake, for the parents' sake, to ease the frustration in the household, you may have to invest in getting a better device, number one, for your child. And then also, as a parent, you have to equip yourself with some sort of computer literacy. You need to be able to be aware of the applications that teachers are asking your child to use so that the child doesn't make mistakes that's going to cause their grades to suffer.
The Bahamas Telecommunications Company enhancing its technology to assist residents utilizing its virtual learning platform. The company's CEO, Gary Sinclair, says the increased demand for technology in the wake of the deadly COVID-19 virus has prompted his organization to now boost its connectivity and broadband network. The company now embarking on a nationwide connectivity campaign to assist consumers.
We're going to be able to not only let you know what you have available to you from us, but we're going to be able to upgrade you to the required bandwidth that you need. And we're going to use a mix of technologies to do that. We're going to use our copper network through VDSL2 technology. We're going to use our fiber to the home networks where they exist. And they exist obviously in huge portions across New Providence on some of the Family Islands. But we're also going to leverage our mobile network as well, our LTE, our robust LTE network, to provide you with wireless capability and broadband capability. That's what we need to do to enhance the bandwidth that you're going to require.
Sinclair outlined several other features of the program.
We added a 10 gig link at the height of the pandemic back in March in order to increase our off-island capacity to make sure that we would not have any congestion at all, and we haven't, and we pass that on to customers, and we keep enhancing that capability and working with our small business partners. It is Small Business Month after all, to ensure that they are equipped to work, not only work better with their customers, but with products like the distributed workforce, enable them to facilitate working from home for their employees as well. So along with other solutions.
Over in the United States, Hurricane Delta has wreaked havoc over some areas of the southern states, including Louisiana, which saw 2 deaths. We spoke to a Bahamian doctoral student at Louisiana State University about her experience during the storm.
I would say preparing for Hurricane Delta was definitely very nerve-wracking. Just 6 weeks ago, we experienced Hurricane Laura, a lot of devastation in the Lake Charles area, and now we're preparing for a storm that is about to hit in the same vicinity, a little bit shifting more east, so Baton Rouge was in line to get more weather than it did the first time. Even though I am born and raised in a region where hurricanes are normal, some things that really scare me about living in Louisiana is the threat of flooding, and also just being here and not being with family and friends. So definitely throughout the storm, it did make landfall around 7-8 p.m. our time, and I appreciated that because it's a more I'm more able to be awake and be alert as opposed to a storm coming at 1-2 o'clock in the morning.
We also asked Rashawn Davis about the challenges brought on by COVID-19 in making preparations for that hurricane.
COVID-19 has definitely added difficulty to every situation that you have to consider. Even when I think about having to go to the grocery store, like constantly being mindful to wear my mask, sanitizing, not spending much time out trying to get stuff. So I literally took one afternoon. I was like, I'm gonna do it all today, and then that's it, not going back out, because I know there's an increased number of people in shops, depending on the type of store you go in. There is not any crowd control specifically. So having to think about that is also in the realm of like the work that I do. So I work in residential life at LSU. I had a conversation with one of my colleagues, and we were talking about, if something were to happen to one of our residential communities, like what can we do in terms of evacuating our students?
Stay close. We've got more right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
Hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver, which is the organ responsible for filtering toxins from the body, producing bile for digestion, and producing proteins and clotting factors. The most important cause of hepatitis worldwide is viruses, of which there are 5 main types: A, B, C, D, and E. Hepatitis B and C are major health challenges globally, affecting over 300 million persons worldwide. The suspicion of hepatitis may be a challenge, as there are typically no symptoms. However, if infected, non-specific symptoms may include decreased appetite, nausea, vague abdominal discomfort, jaundice or yellow eyes, and abnormal liver function tests. If not treated, hepatitis of any type can lead to cirrhosis and liver cancer, which leads to over 1 million deaths worldwide. If you suspect you may have been exposed to the virus that causes hepatitis, talk to your doctor today and get tested.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority in conjunction with the Medical Association of the Bahamas and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
It is important to take precautions to reduce your risk of getting infected with COVID-19, even when you go to the grocery store. Practice physical distancing that is 6 feet apart from others while you wait in line to enter the store. 1 person per household needs to go. Use wipes to disinfect the cart or basket handle that you select. Avoid touching your face, unnecessary items, and surfaces. Try to touch only what you are buying. So carry a grocery list to help you move along quickly. Do not forget to wear a cloth mask while you do your shopping and carry hand sanitizer with you. Practice physical distancing that is 6 feet apart from others as you shop and at the cash register. As little time as possible in the store and get enough groceries to last you for a while. Once your groceries are packed and loaded, use hand sanitizer and rub your hands together until they are completely dry. When you come home from the grocery store, take off your shoes at the door and put all of your grocery bags in one area. Disinfect your grocery bags. Rinse produce and wipe down cans and packages with soap and water before you put them away. Wash your hands thoroughly for 20 seconds when you are done. Wash your clothes and your reusable grocery bags.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Let's stay COVID-free. Remember the 3 S's: sanitize, social distance, and stay inside.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of Bahamians are living with a number of non-communicable diseases that has gravely impacted their physical appearances. This morning, we share with you the story of a young woman battling kidney disease and how you can help her to get that life-altering surgery. 43-year-old Portia Young Barnett is making baby steps in the fight for her life. The mother of 4 and former gas station attendant is battling stage 4 renal failure. Portia was a 200-pound beauty, now weighing in an eye-popping 90 pounds. While on the Montague shores, Portia gave us the 411 about her refusal to take dialysis treatments 3 times per week and her 4-year battle with a life-threatening illness.
I didn't want to do dialysis, but in the end, after a lot of nurses encouraged me that I should do the dialysis because that's my health. And if I don't do it, as long as I prolong it, I would be poison in my blood and I end up dying. I started with the port in my leg. They put it in my chest. It's now still in my chest from 2016 to now. And my arm, which is a fistula. But now the fistula has gone bad, it's blown. So they're still using the port in my chest.
With the dire need for a kidney transplant, Portia has an even greater health issue. Her uterus has been compromised with fibroids the size of golf balls and growing rapidly.
My uterus right now is filled with uterine fibroids. So the doctors told me the only thing I could do right now to get rid of the pain is to take out my whole uterus. But my problem is, when you're on dialysis, people won't take that risk because that's a serious risk. So they won't do that.
Portia's mother also has kidney failure but attends dialysis treatments on different days. However, the young mother who's in consistent pain made this appeal to the public.
I'm in need. I won't lie, I am in need. And if I can find out the amount for my uterine fibroids as well, I would appreciate if whoever can help me out in any way. I would appreciate it. My phone number is 821-9546. That's my cell. My house number is 601-1827. That's my house number.
Meditation can easily be incorporated into everyone's daily cycle with great benefits, but it's an often overlooked mode of therapy. Crystal Darling tells us more about what it can do for you.
With unemployment numbers high, persons are home more than usual, and with bills racking up, the kids constantly in need, and the stress of work overwhelming at times, peace becomes harder to find. Local yoga and meditation teacher Alexis Bethel says that she sees this period as an opportunity to clear out some of the unnecessary things we've been holding on to for a long time.
One of the key threads that I see that most of us, I think, have seen is that most people are struggling right now. You know, we have all this time by ourselves all the time. We can't socialize as much. We can't distract ourselves, whether that's a healthy distraction or an unhealthy distraction. It's becoming harder. And so what we can do is go inside, do the work, maybe adopt some of these practices, improve our habits, improve our health to the best of our ability.
In sharing her experiences, Bethel says there's a strong pull from external forces that may influence the urge to ignore ongoing sufferings.
Until and unless we find something healthier to put in there, we will always go for the quick fix. So if you go for the alcohol and it's every weekend or every day or whatever it is, then until that pattern gets disrupted somehow, it continues on and on and on. And so I think, the question, the place that I got to myself with was, do you want to do this forever?
She says that meditation is necessary and it's a good way to curb bad habits.
Over time, we naturally start to choose the things that are a little bit healthier for us because it feels good. It starts to be like, wow, I did my practice today and I feel really light. I feel really good. Let me do that again. It becomes like a positive reinforcement loop. These changes take time. It literally changes your life from the inside out. You start to witness the thoughts, the emotions, the things that go through your mind. It's in that moment that we have awareness of the ways that we act, that we have choice, right? That we have choice. I'm going to do it that way again, or I'm going to choose to do something new.
Bethel and a few colleagues recently launched an app, Humor Rising, to assist people with practicing meditation using Nidra. She encourages everyone to be patient throughout the process.
Put something else in. It doesn't mean you have to start taking everything out unless you want to, unless you feel ready to. Put something else in and see how it changes everything else. What we're going through will not last forever. It won't. It'll adapt, it'll change. But maybe there's an opportunity that if we do some work on ourselves right now, that actually we could be freer and lighter in the future.
Free Yoga Nidra meditation is accessible at alexisbethel.com. Crystal Darling, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Crystal. He was a part of history, scoring the final run in the Derek Jetter's illustrious career. Now Bahamian Antoine Richardson is making strides off the field. Richardson currently serves as the first base coach for the San Francisco Giants, who finished the season 29-31, third place in the National League West, and needed just one win in their final 3 games of the season to clinch a playoff spot, but fell just short. Richardson gave our news team an overview of the season.
And I think it was disappointing, man. It's disappointing when you don't get to go and try to win the World Series, but there were a lot of things that we were happy about. I think obviously the progress that we did make and giving ourselves a chance to get into the playoffs to the last game of the season. In terms of, the experience as a first base coach, as a player, it was about coming to the ballpark, getting ready to play. And then, as a coach, you just realize how much more work is involved in this process of just preparing and trying to find different ways to beat your opponent. And the preparation that leads up to the game is just... takes a toll, and it's a lot. It takes a lot to try to win one baseball game, and you're just kind of trying to do that daily. So that was a learning experience. I was trying to find, the best ways to do that. But definitely enjoyed it. Enjoyed trying to help players get better, so we can win baseball games, and then they could be the best version of themselves.
And it's time now for your Tuesday workout session with Natasha Brown.
Come on down, Natasha Brown has got you with the ultimate fitness.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to another segment with Downtown Natasha Brown. We have to take advantage of the time we have right now. So listen, the only thing I've got for us to do this morning is we're going to use strictly a mat. So if you've got knee, you've got back, whatever your situation is, this workout is simply for you. Let's get right into it.
next time. Thank you for joining Downtown. I'm taking you closer to becoming your ultimate you.
Well, what about me?
What about you, what?
Well, I thirsty too, you know.
You want to see all the water out there?
Well, why you don't give me your water, and then you go try and drink that salt water?
You crazy, eh?
I ain't the one talking to a dog, you know.
Ain't nobody can drink salt water.
Then why you won't give it to me? All dogs need fresh, cool water and sufficient shelter from the sun all year round, especially on the beach and during the hot summer months.
Summers are very hot here in the Bahamas, so please make sure all pets have ample, cool, fresh water in proper containers and sufficient shelter from the sun, even on the beach. And make sure all dog houses and kennels have proper ventilation. Let's make it Bahamian to be humane.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas Humane Society and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Well, the Prime Minister threw out the call and one small business answered. Sturman Roll, co-owner of Creative Studios Media, says he and his team jumped on the opportunity to create anti-COVID shirts. And after balancing ideas off each other, the ideas were born in less than 2 hours.
We played on the fact we were talking about that we would be the national T-shirt designers. And because of that, if it's going to be a national thing that represents the Bahamas, we wanted to use colors that were symbolic and that has some sense of importance to Bahamians. And so we used the color of the flag, the gold, and we also used the black. And so we wanted to use that, to pay homage to our flag. And so the process was, okay, we wanted to use something that when Bahamians put it on, you feel that sense of there was a hashtag we used that I'm a nationalist. And so you feel that sense of Bahamian pride in wearing it because, it represents us as a nation. Another part of the process to get the look would be where we wanted to decide, okay, it has to be something that it has to be something that's catchy. It has to be something that people would want to wear, because how we think about it is, would I personally wear this? If I can't say I would see myself wearing this, then I would never want to present it to the public. So you always want to create or design something that you would be proud of.
The shirts starting at extra small are available for purchase tomorrow.
We just think it'll be amazing if we could get places like government offices or wherever banks, establishments that will still be open, if they can actually say, okay, let's get our shirts so we could stand in solidarity against the virus this month, as the PM requested. We just think that'll be amazing.
Taking a look now at your weather forecast in the general situation, a combination of a weak frontal trough in the vicinity of the Northwest Bahamas will continue to support pockets of unsettled weather over the country today. Mariners should remain vigilant for possible waterspout activity. In the Northwest Bahamas, the weather is variable, cloudy and hot with a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. In the central and southeast Bahamas, the weather is partly to mostly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Daytime high temperature is 90 degrees. Overnight low temperature is 77 degrees. And that's a wrap for us this Tuesday morning. For the entire team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great day, everyone.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Drums, you got to move your feet. Cowbells shaking, whistles, bugles blowing too. It's our very own music. We just call it jump canoe. Come on down to the Bahamas. There's 700 islands in the Bahamas. More than sand to see it. Beautiful white beaches, sea and sun. Then pack your bags, come and follow me. I'll show you natural beauty anyhow.
The Bahamas is one of the most exquisite places on planet Earth with its pristine environment and marvels of nature. These chain of islands are indeed paradise.